Alright, so in this video I'm going to show you how to make your own custom skin or custom avatar. When you start out, you're using one of the default bodies. We have small default bodies, and there's also larger default bodies, and you can change these ones by clicking body from your profile and then selecting one of these, which are randomly chosen, and you can refresh at any time by hitting the arrow. But if you want a little bit more control over how you look, you can just create your own body. You have to be rank 5, click create, go to body, and you'll see there's several different cells. Each cell is a different function. So here we have sit, we have climb, we have talk. So let's start with stand, which is going to be your default cell for your body. Now, Manyland is a side-scroller platformer in a way, so you're going to want your character looking to the side. If you draw your character looking straight on, it's not going to look as good. So I like to start with the eyes. Add a little ear. And to give the impression that the character is looking to the side, draw this eye on the border of your face. So here's a head. Now if I wanted to draw a male body, I would start the shoulders up here. Maybe not this exact position, but I would start them above the chin. And if it was a female body, I would start the torso here and not do the shoulders at all. But first, before I do the torso, I'm going to fill in the hair. There we go. So that looks okay. Maybe it's a little too tall. So I'm going to go up 1 pixel. There we go. And I like to use this black outline, this cartoony style. You don't have to do it this way. This is just how I do it. And if you wanted to do a color outline, you could start with black and then go back later in and change the color how you wanted it to look. So I'm going to do 2 simple block hands like that, and then I'm going to go down here for the feet. So this is still a little bit taller than I want. So I'm going to try here, move it down. And no, I liked that a little bit better. Okay, so there we go. Now I'm going to put the hands up since I made the body shorter. I want the hands in the same place. So they're going to go 1 pixel higher. Now I could proceed like this, and the character would be using a bit of a dress, or I can draw in some feet. So let's try drawing in the feet. And here we have the border of the hands against the border of the hair, and that's kind of a lot of pixels. It's kind of a chunk of black, and I don't like the way that looks, so I'm just going to do that, which looks much more clean. So here is our very basic character. I think she looks pretty cute. So let's color her in to give some more details. And I think I'm going to actually move the hand in One more pix. There we go. So that, to me, that looks really good for the purposes of this video. So now we're going to go in with the hair. We'll give her brownish hair, brownish orange. For hair, I like to use 3 colors. A medium color for the hair tone, a lighter color or lighter shade for the bangs against the border of the face, and then I'll go darker for the border against the edge, like this. So that first bright color is a little too orange, so I'm going to go a little bit flatter. There we go. That looks good. So now I'm going to do my skin tone. I can either use this bar here, this tan, or this brown. I'm going to do the brown. So that's my skin tone, and then I'm going to do a darker shade for the border, just so it doesn't look too flat. So that looks good. So this is just shading to add some depth to our character. Maybe a little lighter. Little darker. There we go. I'm looking at the preview down here in the bottom left. So I'm going to give the body a name in case I want to save it at any time to test it out. So now I'm going to color in her outfit. I'm going to go with cyan because that's my favorite color. So I filled it in with the darkest shade, and like with the hair, I'm going to use 3 colors. You could also do 4. Maybe we'll do 4 just to see how that looks. So I'm going to add the lightest color first. Then I'll go a little darker. I'm going to have to go lighter on my light color to add some contrast. There we go. That looks much better. And so now I'm just kind of experimenting with the shading to get it look the way I want it to look. And I think I'm actually what I'm actually going to do is add a belt. And I'm going to make this a little bit darker so it's more noticeable. There we go. And the good news is I only have to do this once, and then once I have an outfit that I enjoy, I just have to edit it for the remaining cells. So this looks pretty okay. Before I test it out, I want to have the walking animation done. So what I'm going to do is use the ghost image as a model and then just trace over as I draw in my animation. Now, if you wanted to, you could also just Control-C and Control-V to copy-paste. But I think it's actually faster to just draw it in this way, because then you don't have to worry about getting it correct position when you're erasing. So what I'm doing is I'm putting this foot 1 pixel to the left and this foot 1 pixel to the right. So now I just have to draw in my colors. And for reference, I can always tab back and forth to make sure I'm getting them in the correct position. And once I have these done, what I'm going to do is move the entire image 1 pixel to the left, maybe 2, to really add a fluid movement to the animation. Animating does not need to be difficult. It's really quite easy once you get the hang of it. You just have to practice. If at first you have a hard time with it, just try making 1 image every day. And over time, with persistent practice, you'll find that it's much easier than you thought. Okay. And I'm going to add in my belt. And I'm using the eyedropper tool to select the colors from the first cell. You don't have to do this. You can use the palette at the bottom, or palette, I guess it's pronounced, but I find this is just much faster. So as I do this, I notice the hair is changing. And I think I actually like the way that looks because it'll add some more animation. So now I'm going to move it 1 pixel to the left, and I'm going to hit OK. And now I can actually test my walking animation. So I like the way this looks. It's just I can already see that the foot is getting cut off in the second cell right here. So what I'm going to do is fill those in with black. And while I'm here, I'm also going to add some detail to the eyes. I could also make it a little bit more cartoony by adding white pixels to the right side, but I like it better with just 1 little pixel at the top. And I can even add a color here to add some maybe purple eyes aren't that natural. Green looks good. There we go. So see the difference between the two. Here the foot is not getting cut off, and that little detail in the eyes adds quite a bit. And I also notice where I didn't fix the hair, that dark pixel is showing up in a way that I don't appreciate. So that looks good for now. Now let's move on to jumping. For jumping, I'm going to do the same thing I did with the walk animation, which is trace over the standing cell and then color in. And again, if you wanted to, you could copy and paste. I just find this to be much faster and more convenient for what I need. So I'm going to put the hand up here, and I'm going to put the eyes 1 pixel higher. I'm going to put this foot 2 pixels higher. And I'm going to leave this foot in the same position. And I'm also going to leave this hand in the same position. Actually, yeah, I will. Okay. So now it looks like our little character is doing a super jump up into the sky. So just color in the clothes. And I also notice here there we go. It kind of got blocked out. Okay. Okay. So that's good. Add in my shading. There we go. So you see she's now jumping up. And I need to add, there we go. Okay. So for fall, what I'm going to do is leave this hand here next to the face. And I'm going to put the eyes 1 pixel lower. So now they look like they're 2 pixels lower, but that's because when I did the jump animation, or the jump cell, I put them 1 pixel higher. So they're even though it looks 2 lower, it's just 1 pixel lower than the default standing cell. Okay, and I'm going to put the other hand here. And then I'm going to put this down as if the character was falling. And I'm going to have each foot facing a different direction. Okay. So now I have a block of black pixels, and I don't like the way that looks. So one way around that is to change the color of the eyes to a lighter shade of black, so a gray. And I have to remember to go back and do it in all the cells so that it doesn't look uneven. And all I did was use my middle mouse button to scroll down to add more colors. But you can also just click which bar you want to go to. Oops, that was the wrong color. There we go. So now, since the legs are up and behind us and facing different directions, we have to remember that when we color them in. So the lightest color is at the top, and the darkest color is by the heel. Okay, so there we go. So now when our character falls, it's going to look much more fluid. Alright. For climbing, I'm going to Control C and Control V to paste, because I want the character to look like she has her back to us. So like with the falling animation, I'm going to have the feet in different directions. Going to move the hands as well. And instead of having the face here, what I'm going to do is just draw right over it. And this is going to be the back of her hair. and I'm going to put the darkest color along the bottom border and the lightest color on the top. Now, if you wanted to, you could have a stationary light source in each cell, but I find that my characters move around so much and the areas in the game world are so different that it's easier to just do it this way. But if you wanted to do that extra step of detail, you could. I just don't think it's worth it at this time. So I have the lightest pixel pointing outwards, which is reverse of the standard cell, as you can see. Here it's in, there it's out. Same with the feet. Okay. So there we go, and now she's a little tilted to one side, which is totally fine since she's going to be flipping back and forth as she climbs. So this is create. Now if I wanted to, I could have my character doing something a little unusual as she creates. The default bodies use the same image for climbing. The only difference is that the cell rotates at a slower rate and dust will appear around the character. So I'm just going to do that for now. So I'm going to Control C and Control V, and I'll show you what I mean. And I'm going to Control C my stand and then Control V into sit. So at the bottom it says, I have to erase to show you the text, draw face in same place. And I would have erased my feet anyway because I'm going to redraw them up here. And the reason I'm doing this is because if my character goes in front of an object that has chair in the name, she's going to switch to this cell as if she was sitting. And I'll show you that as well once we start testing, because we're almost finished. So that's the same color layout for the shoes. Okay. Here we have blink, and it says only draw the part that changes. So I have to scroll down for my eyes, and I'm going to want them closed when I blink. And if I left it like this, the back eyes would show up for the blinking cell, and I don't want that, so I'm going to color over them with my skin tone. And here we have talk, and I'm going to scroll down to white and just add some white pixels for the character's mouth. So let's test this out to make sure everything looks okay and see if I need to make any changes. So I click the save arrow. All I have to do is tap this body to start testing it. The walk looks good. Jumping and falling looks pretty good. So here's a chair. And if I go in front, my character hops right up. The only thing I would change is maybe put the feet closer together, because they're kind of far apart. There we go. So let's try this one more time. I have to click the new body to put it on. There we go. That looks pretty cute. So now I need something to climb. So I wonder if I have any rope. And I do. So I'm just going to put some in the world. Climb up. And if I hit create, You can see it's the same animation as climbing, it's just a little slower like I said, and there's dust particles floating around my avatar. Okay, so then the only other thing I need to test is the chat. And that looks pretty cool. And you can even see the character blinking periodically. And you can cheat by typing, because your character will always blink while they chat. So now I'm just going to delete the older versions to make space in my inventory. And there we have it. That is a very simple custom body. And you can use these steps in different ways. You could change the hair, you can change the eyes. Just use this as a template going forward as you make your own designs. Thanks for watching.